the last set of sessions at the ICT4D conference and the last tech demo session. You know, it's we need to bring the energy to our speakers, think about the questions you want to ask. This is the last opportunity to do a little bit of networking and learning. And so I hope you take the time afterward to ask our speakers some questions. We'll do a quick Q&A after the 4 presentations, and then we'll break for a short coffee break before coming back here for the closing plenary sessions. So to get us started, Peter from Development Media International will present on a WhatsApp chatbot for child and maternal health behavior change in Tanzania.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, so it's always interesting to see like how this looks on a big screen. So my name is Peter Emes. I work with Development Media International. I'm based in Tanzania now for the past 10 years, and before I was in Burkina Faso. So DMI creates evidence-based behavior change campaigns that improve child and maternal health in 9 countries in sub-Saharan Africa. These campaigns have been and are still mostly analog ones using radio and TV, but over the past 10 years, media habits changed with the advent of mobile phones, and especially younger generations are listening to radio less. They're watching TV less, except soccer, but they have smartphones. Tanzania's 22 DHS survey found 30 to 40% smartphone ownership among urban men and women, and this keeps growing steadily. So we work closely with the Ministry of Health and their health promotion unit, which approves all health education. And in this changed mediascape, we explore together how we could continue to reach the younger generation of new parents and new caregivers. And with funding from the UBS Foundation and Horace Goldsmith Foundation, we co-developed a WhatsApp chatbot. We chose WhatsApp because it allows us to reuse the audio-visual content that we've created in other campaigns, edit it down to small, low bandwidth clips, and people can click through chats, interact with buttons and lists. So for now, Tunza Afya Chat, which means take care of your health, is a rule-based chatbot using predefined logic and decision trees with a Swahili and English version, but 98% uses Swahili. Our head office doesn't speak Swahili, so we have an English version for them. It combines narration, audio visuals, clips, and it supports parents through pregnancy and children's early years. Our focus is on helping users recognize danger signs and seek timely care. But the chatbot is also a medium to just access trusted Ministry of Health approved health info. The chatbot offers different journeys, all storified by a young couple, Dotto and Barige, who have 2 young kids, and they take users through the chat. The first journey is child survival or child health for children under 5 years of age. It follows the Tanzanian MOH Swahili version of the Integrated Management of Childhood Illness and focuses on general danger signs and priority diseases of pneumonia, diarrhea, and malaria. Users choose between my child is sick, prevention treatment, and nutrition. And when a user clicks their child has a severe danger sign following the decision tree, the chatbot encourages them to seek prompt treatment and give guidance. If the child has diarrhea, use ORS while you head to the health center. In the maternal health journey, Dotto and Barige are expecting their 3rd child and take users along on their first ANC visit. Again, special attention goes to recognizing danger signs during pregnancy and seeking prompt care. Users can also view video clips of Dotto and Barige's entire ANC visit, where a real nurse counsels them through their visit, again following the official ANC guidance. Here, the chat also focuses on the importance of delivering and preparing for delivery at a health facility. Throughout the different chat journeys, male involvement and support is a key feature. And we've now reached a total of 85,000 users. We continue to have a balance of about 50-50 men and women, and 63% of our users are aged between 20 and 35. Nutrition is covered in both child and maternal health journeys, giving users simple videos for complementary feeding recipes, like mashing a banana with avocado, breastfeeding tips, info on a varied diet, following the nutrition guidance from the Ministry of Health and the Nutrition Department. Child nutrition is a very popular section. 60% of visitors in the child health section go to that section. In the early childhood development journey, users get to know a community health worker who visits 4 everyday families and see practical video tips that model responsive caregiving, that show play, encourage language learning and positive discipline, specific to different age groups of children. Users can select the age that they're interested in and go through a set of videos, for example, on how to make simple toys with household items, but also look at how to practice responsive caregiving. So the chatbot has been developed with groups of parents, learning from them how they use WhatsApp, how they navigate through the chatbot, what else they would like to see. We know that CHWs, while not our intended audience, also use the chatbot in their counseling to demonstrate some recipes or show nurturing care or play videos. And the chat content matches what CHWs are being trained on. So knowing that CHWs use the chatbots led to a side project, which has other potential. So in Tanzania, they've replaced the one-page growth chart that parents get after delivery, and they replaced it with a child health booklet, which is 50 pages long, which covers the comprehensive record of a child's medical history, including immunizations, growth monitoring, development milestones, nutrition info, and this now has 3 growth charts: height by age, weight by age, weight by height. So, but not all nurses are trained or understand how to correctly fill out the information, how to interpret the charts. So with the Ministry of Health and ECPAF and health workers, we created a video chat training journey in the WhatsApp chatbot, but it's only accessed through a password or a trigger and sign up. And in that journey, a nurse trainer explains key aspects of the booklet in 10 short clips, and a graphics artist supplied animations to demo how to fill out specific parts or how to highlight how to interpret 2 standards deviation in the growth charts. So we've experimented with different channels to create awareness of Tunza Afya Chat via community sensitization, radio mentions, TV spots, and now micro-influencers, while continuing to work with the Ministry of Health to integrate with service-side digital apps and platforms. Since mid-2025, we're sending reminders after 24 hours to users whom the chatbot advised to seek promptly care after recognizing a severe danger sign in child or maternal health. Those who respond to the reminders are asked whether it was a genuine danger sign. For example, was your child really sick, or were you just browsing or learning? Of those who clicked on the child danger sign, 75% said that their child was sick. 83% of those said that they went to a clinic to seek treatment. Those who clicked on maternal danger signs, 42% said it was a real emergency, but only 55% said that they went to a clinic. So now I'm going to close this and give you a sense of what the chatbot looks like while I talk over. So what's next for Tunza Afya Chat? First, we have to improve the data analytics. We're not tech-savvy people. We work with tech engineers, but we need to improve the data analytics. We're also exploring and testing a safe AI model to answer open-ended questions, because people put in open-ended questions in the chatbot, but we need a model that adheres to Tanzania's data privacy and protection regulations and is sustainable for the Ministry of Health's ICT to co-manage and maintain. We want to create more user-specific stage-based health advice and reminders and put in new content, especially family planning and reproductive health. The Ministry of Health wants more. They want NCDs, general health checkups, oral hygiene in a one-stop platform. We also want to make more gamified content. Finally, we're doing stepwise integration with Ministry of Health digital health apps and platforms. A first step is like the booklet. The revised version will now also include information about Tunza Afya Chat. And we're working on integrating with the Universal Community Services platform, which is used by CHWs and health centers. But that requires permissions from several Tanzanian entities and not only the Ministry of Health. So it's a long path, which also has people and infrastructure capacity implications, as others have mentioned in this conference. But by building the chatbot from conception to development and implementation with MOH, we have a good foundation. And so I'm well in time. I just wanted to end with a few examples of the users who use the chatbot as a learning tool. And I'm thinking of one mother who listened to the difficult rapid breathing that's in the child health section, took her child to the health center, and got treatment for pneumonia. Another one used the breastfeeding tips to overcome the troubles that she had with breastfeeding. And finally, one father whose son was malnourished saw the recipes, the videos, told and showed his wife the recipes on his phone, and they started using the recipes, and the child actually gained weight to such an extent that the father actually bought his wife a smartphone. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Peter. Oh, you want to take your computer? Peter, is that your computer? Yeah. All right. Coming up next, just lost. We have Christine from Engage Spark, who will present on the presentation called Old Meets New, Better Feature Phone Surveys with the Use of AI.
Hi. Sorry, it's very tall. Which do you think of these two phones? Sorry, two phones would you would need if you want to do an AI-powered survey? You might say the smartphone, right? Because most AI tools right now, or as of today, are built for apps on smartphones. But in in a lot of countries or in a lot of communities right now, especially in humanitarian context, the more powerful answer to that question would be a basic phone, the keypad phones. And why is that? Because if you supercharge a feature phone with AI, you can reach a lot more people who do not have access to smartphones. And that is why we are trying to um, introduce AI into feature phones like this so that we can accommodate those people who do not have internet, do not have apps, do not have access to smartphones. And you've all probably heard of IVR surveys, right? Where people receive a phone call on their phone, they hear a message with a lot of questions, and they are asked to press digits on their phone. And that is how IVR surveys have worked for decades. However, we wanted to also show you how AI can also work in these phones. So for now, I will send a sample basic IVR on this phone. And I hope the telcos don't fail me. Okay, and let's wait a few seconds for it to arrive here on this phone. Okay.
What is your main concern about getting your child vaccinated? If you're worried about the side effects and its safety, press the number 1 on your phone.
Okay.
If you are worried about the cost, press the number 2.
I will press number 3.
About the vaccine. Press 3 that you don't have enough information about the vaccine.
So that is the key press model of IVR. Now let's see how that works. So let's imagine you send an IVR survey to 1,000 mothers. One of them picks up. They hear they hear a question. What are their main concern about getting their child vaccinated, and then a list of choices, which then they press a digit to answer, and they hear a goodbye message, and that model, that approach still works, and it's a very powerful way of collecting data. Especially for, again, for people who do not have access to a smartphone. However, we do believe that we can make it better. What if we can make it more accessible for people who who are not familiar with how IVR works and who are not comfortable with, pressing digits on their phone. So I'm gonna send another sample on this phone. Now this time, it's the AI version.
Hi, why didn't you vaccinate your child? Tell us in your own words.
I really want to get my child vaccinated, but I don't have money for it.
I understand you are concerned about the cost of vaccines. Thank you so much for your time. Goodbye.
So did you notice the difference? Instead of it giving me an array of choices that I have to listen to before I can actually reply, what it did is it played a question and it allowed me to speak whatever it is that I wanted to say in the language that I'm comfortable with. Now imagine if that same IVR is sent to a mother with this type of phone and she can speak in Swahili or in any languages that she's comfortable with. Think about the amount of time that it reduces them from having to, remove it from their ears and then pressing digits and so on. They just have to speak whatever it is that they wanted to say. And you can build surveys like this in our platform. It's very easy. You don't need to have, you don't need to code. You don't need to have special technical skills. So with that, let me introduce myself. I'm Christine. I work with Engage Park, and we power this type of surveys with 4 humanitarian sectors and academic researchers, and as well as businesses. Now, let me show you how you can actually do this in the platform. So you can see here, that's the key press vaccine question, and you can have it in multiple languages. And it has, a list of choices in there that makes it lengthy a bit. And this is now where you can specify your key press choices, like press 1 if you're concerned about safety, press 2 if you're concerned about costs, and however they respond to that, you can trigger different kinds of actions. Okay. And again, this is still a powerful way to collect data. A lot of organizations are using this, and we've powered a lot IVR surveys across multiple countries using this model, including Kenya. However, this time I'm going to show you what's next for IVR. And in here, notice how short the question is going to be. Okay, and we use speech recognition to recognize what language the respondent is using, and this is now where you enable AI to capture the response. So you can say, any possible choice, any possible responses that you might get out of that recording. Yeah. And others, of course, if you've listed all of the possible choices, but there will be some responses that will not be part of those choices. So others will catch all of that, of course, for your further analysis. I know that the calls that I played earlier, and then this video shows English. But again, like I mentioned earlier, it can support multiple languages. You can have it in Swahili, in Arabic, in Spanish, French, Filipino, any other languages. So now you can, it doesn't work just with IVR. It can also be applied to SMS and WhatsApp. With WhatsApp, of course, you need to have smartphone for that. So I know my example here has, the question is in text and then followed by a voice note. But with WhatsApp, your automated WhatsApp survey can be all in voice. You can ask a question in a voice note, send it in WhatsApp. You can receive a reply also as a voice note and a follow-up as a voice note. So everything can be a voice note on WhatsApp. And I think we're out of time. So I'd encourage you all to try our demo, play with it, have fun with it. And if you have questions, of course, you can ask me later. And yeah, so that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christine. Up next, we have Stella, Esther from the AGVO Foundation, and they'll present on their tool called AgriConnect, empowering smallholder farmers with AI-driven advisory services.
So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for coming to our session. We will be displaying our agri-digital advisory platform called AgriConnect, which is made by AGVO. I will be doing that together with my colleague, Stella Nyaka, who is the AGVO Hub Manager in Nairobi in Kenya. And I am the agri-sector lead based in the Netherlands. I will be explaining a little bit what the advisory platform is about, and Stella will dive into the implementation and the piloting of this platform. But first, a little bit about AGVO. AGVO is the Esperanto word for water, and we started 20 years ago in the wash sector developing data application tools. In the past 20 years, we moved from a tool developer into a solution developer. And those last 20 years, in that change, we moved into a multidisciplinary team with data and tech specialists in-house and sector expertise in water, climate, and agriculture. And we also have a local presence in Eastern Africa, Western Africa, Southeast Asia, India, and Europe. Headquarters is in Amsterdam, so local presence with global support. AgriConnect tries to tackle the challenges. On the one hand, farmers do not have enough access or limited access to knowledge and practical advice on specific crops in a specific context. And on the other hand, the overload of the burden of extension staff not be able to reach all the farmers that they need to represent. So in Kenya, the advisory ratio is one extension staff has to serve 1,000 farmers. So we try, within AgriConnect, we try to connect the farmers with extension officers to provide efficient evidence-based support. The vision for AgriConnect is empowering farmers with AI-driven, real-time contextualized information and expert support, fostering increased productivity and improved livelihoods. So how does that work in reality? So on the one hand, we have a farmer interface where they use WhatsApp channel to ask questions. And then on the other hand, we have an AI tool platform or tool for extension officers who can monitor and look at the questions that the farmers put in and jump in where a question is escalated. So the farmer starts with the text. They can do by text, but also by voice recognition or voice-based interaction in both English and Swahili. And then AI can suggest an answer based on a validated knowledge base that we have created for several crops. Stella will dive into that a little bit more. But so it's really a knowledge base based on the good agricultural practices set by the Kenyan government on a specific crop, focusing on fertilizer application protocols, but also just on plant and row spacing, post-harvest practices, looking at the quality of a product. But we also trained the tool that they don't immediately give answers. Being an agronomist is being like a detective. So you always have to ask questions if you actually tackle the problem, the real problem that the farmer is having. So there's also this didactic component for both farmers, but also extension services that are being trained in this way, not only on the agricultural know-how, but also how to actually give advice and provide the relevant insights to the farmer. So if the farmer is not satisfied with the answer, or they want to know a little bit more, then they can escalate the answer. And then the extension officer actually can look at the questions and also the whole history, the chat history, sees what is being recommended by AI, and can come up with a more tailored advice specific in that context on that specific crop. So these are the interfaces for farmer and extension services. The back end gives also the possibilities for some additional features for farmer organizations, which Stella will dive into.
So some additional features, hello everyone. So some additional features that have been created, especially for extension officers, because our target is really extension officers, organizations working with farmers, like farm organizations and cooperatives. And so if a farmer puts in his profile or creates his profile, that means that he or she cannot be able to delete or edit. I mean, they can delete, but they cannot edit. So there are times when they need to update details, like for example, change of location, then the extension officer of the organization can actually be able to do that. Or sometimes the extension officer would like to group farmers, so they can do that in the back end. The other thing is that they can always they can broadcast messages, yeah? Alerts. If there's a pest outbreak, for example, they can do that and monitor the quality. So this one is specifically for organizations, farm organizations and cooperatives, that they're able to monitor the quality of responses, because it's not always AI, but sometimes if it is escalated to the extension officer can edit. But then the organization can even monitor the quality of those responses, but also monitor how timely they are in responding to the questions. And then the final one is the analytics, where the organization can know what are the main questions and topics that are being asked by the farmers, therefore they can create like capacity building plans. This is, maybe I'll move to the actual, this is also, this came from a request by the organizations we are working with. And for them, they are really interested because we are working in different counties, or this app is in different counties, different farmers in different crops. Then they wanted to be able to see the statistics. I don't know if how we can be able to see this part, but we have the farmer statistics, the extension officer statistics, and yeah. No, yeah, I want this part, but anyway. So there's the farmer statistics, and then you can be able to see the DC statistics. Yeah, and then, sorry. And anyway, and then there's the extension officer statistics, and also there's a crop statistics, which means that you can see how many farmers are interested in a particular crop, which extension officers are speaking to which particular farmers. Yeah, it's up. Thank you very much. And they can be able to filter that even within the dates, like what period of time were farmers more active with the app. And they can also be able to filter that even by the counties. And then finally, is what we've been able just to share also what we've been able to do, especially in, oops, Esther, sorry. I am sorry. I am very sorry. So is the last finally is how we've been able to, we've partnered with the county, with the county of Muranga County. And for us, that was very key to go through the county government initially because of the governance, the data governance issues. So we've had a lot of conversations with the county government, and then we have partnered with Kenya Forum for Agricultural Services, who is basically organization that brings together extension service providers, and they're in different counties. We also partnered with Nakuru Tubers Association, and all these are targeting a specific crop because you're in avocado, potato, and dairy. Actually, today there's a training going on in Elgeyo Marakwet for the dairy extension officers. And these partnerships helped us to be able to roll out the application, but also ensure that farmers are effectively they're able to actually access the services. If you want to try out the application, there are just 9 questions that you fill in just for the profile, and then you can ask questions, but you can only ask questions on avocado, potato, and dairy, because that's what we have created the knowledge base for. That's what you'll be able to get, and for Kenya. And you can also send us some questions or feedback on AgriConnect. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Stella and Esther. Coming up next, we've got Rico from the University of Reading, who will present, my apologies, presentation entitled Supporting Smallholders Climate Change Adaptation Decision-Making, a Digital Participatory Integrated Climate Service for Agriculture, or ePICSA.
Can I start? Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rieko Shibata. I'm from University of Reading. How does it look? Sorry. Yeah, it's okay. So, sorry. Yeah, so I'm working for University of Reading in a small team of PICSA. PICSA stands for Participatory Integrated Climate Services for Agriculture. And this approach was developed by the university 10 years ago. But last 3 years, we are trying to develop more like digital innovations of this approach to scale the approach. Yes. So climate change is a huge global challenge. And you have observed that more than 1.5 degrees temperature rise globally, and then also extreme weather events such as floods or droughts have doubled since 1990s. And you have observed also the yield loss that ranges between 7 to 23%. That's a big number. And as a result, by the year of 2030, 100 million people will be pushed into poverty. So alongside these climate challenges, farmers actually deal with huge climate variability from year to year. So this means that it's very important to support farmers' decision-making for seasonally and also for long term. So how can we empower farmers to adapt and improve their livelihoods? So this is our PICSA approach that was developed 10 years ago. It's totally non-digital. So we always consider farmers in the center. So this is where we start and we work with. So farmers have different challenges and opportunities. And we try to encourage farmers to access climate information. And that can include historical records and seasonal and then short-term forecasts. That's site-specific. It's not just like a global, like average or the country-based data. And we try to use lots of participatory decision-making tools that is, again, like non-digital. And we try to encourage farmers to think about what kind of options, adaptation options or practices they want to think about or they want to introduce into their farming systems. It can be crops, it can be livestock, it can be livelihood. But we have two main principles. That is, farmer decides. It is not AI, it's not extension officer, it's not the researcher to push a certain technology to the farmers, but it's the farmer who decides. And the options that that is relevant for them depends on the context, because farmers that we are dealing with are very different, even within the same community, depending on the gender, depending on the age group, depending on their interest, and also the attitude to risk. So their options that they come up should be different. So this approach has been spread to more than 30 countries globally last 10 years. So we reached more than 1 million farmers. And now, last 3 years, we tried to digitalize all of this approach. So with support from GIZ and other global and local partners, we have developed and co-developed our app, ePICSA app, with extension officers and then farmers, and that is available in English, and that's also available in 9 local languages in Malawi and Zambia that are our pilot countries. And with IDEMS, we supported climate information systems in those 2 countries, working together with the National Met Department. And so many like weather station data, like it can be maybe written like on paper, but we try to support the digitalizing of those data and then linked to our app. And we trained more than 300 extension staff, and who subsequently trained more than 30,000 farmers in total. And then we also support scaling and sustainability to make sure that in-country capacity is built by training master trainers and also supporting developing the dashboard. So this is our step-by-step approach of PICSA. So this is our starting point. So farmers think about, what do you currently do? What farmers currently do? So we use 2 participatory tools, that is resource allocation map. That's again like very non-digital. But so farmers actually draw the map. It's because majority of farmers we target not comfortable in reading or writing. So we encourage them to draw symbols like this. But of course, like we use like digital technologies or digital support, because we developed like video materials to guide step by step. And we also have a seasonal calendar that is important for farmers to make the linkages between the weather conditions and all the farming activities in different time of the year and season. So step 2, what is happening to the climate in your area? So farmers learn and access, we encourage farmers to learn their climatology. So all those data, like climate data, was available at your weather stations or like meteorological department, but it was not available to the farmers level. So we linked, so that this app includes 41 met stations in Zambia and 33 met stations in Malawi. So that provides the automatically updated and locally specific climate information to enable farmers and extension staff to analyze their climatology. And okay, so next step. So they look at the opportunities and risks. So looking at the climate graph of their specific area, so we provide the information such as climate information sheet. So this climate information sheet translates the days to maturity. That is linked to the length of season, and the crop water requirement that's linked to the seasonal rainfall. And then that calculates the chances for a good harvest depending on which timing of the season they are going to plant. So the farmers are informed like which variety of maize or different crops would be suitable for their area and for themselves. And step 4, this is a very important step for farmers, because now using this participatory tool, it's option matrix, farmers think about what options, adaptation options they can think about. And importantly, they are the one who assess and evaluate which options are more important for them and relevant for them. And options can be conservation agriculture or manure making, or it can be agroforestry, but it has its own implication. And different farmers have different preference. So they assess like who decides for that practice, who does it, and benefit, what's the benefit and who benefits from it. And what is the performance under low rainfall scenario? And what about high rainfall scenario? And what about the investment in terms of money and then time? And they also assess the risks and the disadvantages. And importantly, farmers themselves decide by themselves. Okay, so this is another tool that we use, it's a participatory budget. So this informs farmers, support farmers to make a very concrete plan, which month of the season, what kind of inputs and the family labor are needed, and what kind of outputs are expected. So this is like very useful planning tool. And then lastly, farmers are encouraged to use seasonal forecast that's available just before the season starts, and also short-term forecasts during the season. And then, so we have some models, training models, and most common models is to use face-to-face training by extension staff. But of course, like as you know, the extension and the farmer ratio is really huge. And sometimes like one extension officer has to cover 2,000 farmers, and it's not realistic. So we are trying to develop the different kinds of model. So it would be farmer-led training using this digital e-learning app. And I think the time. Okay, sorry, this is the last slide. So impact has been so far very promising. So 90% of trained farmers have made adaptation changes. So PICSA approach and ePICSA approach has successfully stimulated farmers' practice for adaptation. And majority of farmers reported improved food security and income increased. And then every $1 invested in PICSA generates over $3 in benefits, according to the research done by Potsdam Institute. Yeah, thank you very much for listening. Yeah, if you are interested in our approach, please feel free to download our app, and also to learn more about PICSA, please use this QR code. And of course, our approach is not perfect, and none of the approach is perfect. So we are learning. So yeah, please feel free to contact me anytime.
Thank you so much. I'm going to ask all our speakers and presenter to take the stage, and we'll do a quick Q&A. So if all of the speakers want to get up there, and we'll do a quick Q&A. And I'm also going to encourage our participants who are online and watching to also put your questions in the chat, and we'll try to get to them. I know there's already one question coming in from our colleagues joining us virtually. So this question, I think, is for you, Stella or Esther. It's coming in from our online participants. And they ask if you intend to extend the tools application to other crops apart from avocado and potatoes in the future.
Yes, we have only started with avocado, dairy, and potato because the materials are readily available. The knowledge materials are readily available, and they are really highly developed crops. But we intend to go to other crops, to other value chains, and also to other counties. Thank you. And countries. Now we only in Kenya, but even other countries. Yes.
Wonderful. All right. Any other questions online? Any questions in the room? Any questions? Gentleman in the back.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Lucas from Trias, an NGO working with farmers. So my question is actually, that's why I was doubting to ask it, because it's directed to ACFO again. But my question is, so it's an extension support service actually through WhatsApp. There's also been sessions on this conference with like fully AI extension platforms, and I was wondering what are the key differences or what you see as the key benefits of your tool compared to these fully AI powered tools.
That's the human in the loop working with extension officers that really know the situation on the ground. So if they interfere with the questions or if a farmer escalates a question, then they know exactly the context where they operate. Also, when something is not working, they can directly go to the farmers themselves. And another aspect of that is that with every chain, we see that the users in the end are quite different. So for avocado, they're more like older farmers. So we need someone else to maybe support that older farmer in working with the app, but also with the extension officer. So having this human factor, especially with smallholder farmers, I think is really an addition and something different than the fully AI-powered tools.
Thank you.
Yes.
My question is on the phone survey. It was a good tool. Does it incorporate other languages? Can it translate to the various languages we have, especially here in Africa? That is one of our biggest challenge.
Thank you for that. So right now, the platform supports up to 130 plus languages. In Africa, it supports Swahili, both Kenya and Tanzania Swahili, and Zulu, if I'm not mistaken. But as we are also dependent on what's available technology-wise with AI, so that's what we are able to offer in the platform as well. So as large language models develop over time, I believe there will be more and more languages that will be made available, especially the ones that are more local.
Okay, thank you. So my question is similar, but it's on Pixar. The language adaptability, and just to double check, that must it be contextualized within the meteorological system of a particular geographical area to work effectively?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think video making costs quite a lot based on our experience, but I think, okay, now currently it is available in English and 9 local languages in the pilot countries, that is Zambia and Malawi, but we try to expand that the languages, and then soon French and Spanish and Portuguese would be ready within this year. But also, like, for supporting local language is really a key for us, because we want to reach the farmers directly. So this is where I need collaboration, maybe like from AI, because we are also conscious about the voice. It can be like women's voice or men's voice. That makes a difference. So we try to mix it, not simultaneously, of course, but then like we try to provide the video materials in both voices. So I hope anyone can assist us in terms of like AI, or maybe we can, yeah, if you know any program or something, maybe that would be like less costly in future. but we do that like recording, like voice recording, actual voice recording.
Thank you. My name is Masai. I'm from a technology company called Ecom Technologies, which is based in Ethiopia. My question is regarding the phone survey. You mentioned that you have a AI-based survey and a non-AI-based survey. When it comes to the non-AI-based survey, I understand that the replies given by the user are predetermined, right? But when we come to the AI-based survey, the reply could vary. Well, the respondent can say the same thing in different ways. And how do you categorize the response when it comes to the AI? He can say the same thing differently. So how can you categorize that? You know, it means the same thing.
With the AI version, the answers are also in a way predetermined because you're going to set different possible answers that may come up from out of the recordings. And AI then, what's going to happen behind the scenes is then AI is going to analyze that recording and match it with what the list of possible responses that you have set, like what I've shown in the video. And anything else that doesn't match will fall under the catch-all for later analysis.
Anybody has any questions? Any of the presenters have questions to each other? Don't mean to put you on the spot.
Ziad, I have a question. If there are tech experts in the room, how do you make a 3-digit phone number clickable in WhatsApp? Because on an Apple phone, you say call 199, it becomes something that you can click and your phone will call that number. On Androids, it doesn't do it. And I've gone down the rabbit hole of Meta Business Suite call to action templates, and I don't have answers. Get back to me if you find it.
Okay, fine. Yeah. I was going to say we've got about a minute, but also if you find that answer in the next couple minutes or later, reach out to Peter, maybe over coffee downstairs, talk to the exhibitors as well. Any last questions? Okay, well, seeing none, I'm going to say thank you so much to our speakers and presenters. Sorry about that.
Sorry to interrupt. Yes, I just had a simple question, maybe to the panelists. What happens to the data that you collect? Do you do any further analysis with it, maybe to inform your future decisions, or how do you go about it? All the data from the messages that you receive. I think this cuts across. Like what happens after the data you collect from the messages? Where do you take it? How do you use it?
Well, for our WhatsApp, we have a dashboard that sort of analyzes what people look at. We also are capturing all the open-ended inputs and figuring out like how do we respond in the future to that. So we look at drop-off points, where people drop off, how long they are engaged, but it can also be a tool to feed back to communities and feed back to the ministry. For example, during rainy season, we'll see like more people checking out diarrhea information in the chatbot or pneumonia. So you even in peaks you can say. So it's also a tool where you could go and give feedback to specific areas. If there's a cholera epidemic in Dodoma region, you can also look at and talk to those people and send them messages and give them health information.
Anybody else want to answer in 30 seconds?
Yes. So for ACVO, there are two things. So the first thing is that we are in partnership of, I've signed an MOU with the county government, for example, of Murang'a. And why we did that was, one, because of the data that we collect. And the county government is really much interested in the data that comes in from for the farmers in Moranga so that they can use it, but also they can, the accountability reasons. And then secondly is for the organizations and the cooperatives that we have partnered with. So like, for example, once the data comes in or the information comes in, then they are able to build capacity, they are able to come up with capacity building plans, depending on the type of questions, the topics that are coming out of the questions that are being asked by the farmers. So they're able to really come up with the capacity. So it's really the government, very key, but also the organizations that are serving the farmers.
Well, thank you so much. We're a few minutes over time. Just want to give a round of applause to all our speakers and presenters today. Please make sure to ask some questions outside, maybe over coffee downstairs, and we'll be back here at 4 p.m. For our closing plenary. Thank you so much, everyone.